Thank you for joining us again on the News Hour on Biscontv. I'm Stella Opara. And coming up in the news, federal government's youth entrepreneurship initiative to create 2 million direct jobs, says Minister. Amid rowdy session, reps pass bill to adopt old anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee. In business news, ICANN urges new accountants to leverage AI to unlock opportunities. On the foreign scene, China holds military drills around Taiwan as strong punishment. And in the world of sports, FIFA replaces Benin Nigeria match officials for World Cup qualifiers. Now the news in full. The Minister for Youth Development, Jamila Bio Ibrahim, says the Federal Executive Council has approved the establishment of the presidential initiative of the Youth Entrepreneurship Cluster. According to her, the first 6 clusters will be activated in the coming weeks and will empower 50,000 entrepreneurs, creating up to 500,000 direct jobs and over 2 million indirect engagements for young Nigerians. The minister stated this during the ministerial sectoral update to mark the first anniversary of President Bola Tinubu's administration, held at the Radio House in Abuja on Thursday. She also highlighted the establishment of the Next Gen Bank, a specialized financial institution which aims to support youth-led initiatives in strategic sectors, providing vital financial services with an initial government investment of 5 billion naira, matched by contributions from the Bank of Industry and private sector partners. Ibrahim further stated that the ministry has initiated a National Youth Skills Program to train 300,000 National Youth Service Corps members and 700,000 young people outside the NYSC scheme in the informal sector. The minister said the skills program will serve as the administration's non-kinetic approach to solving challenges of insecurity. In another story, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde on Thursday approved the recruitment of 338 officers into the State Road Traffic Management Authority to enhance road traffic and regulation across the country. The Oyo State Road Traffic Management Authority Chairman, Major Adeshagba Adekoya, made this known in a statement signed by the State Commissioner for Information, Dotun Oyelade, in Ibadan, the state capital. During the screening exercise held at the Road Traffic Management Operational Headquarters, Sanyo, Ibadan, Adekoya disclosed that about 2,450 applications were received from qualified candidates. He stressed that the screening exercise was a manifestation of responsive governance of Governor Makinde, who deemed it fit to increase the strength of the State Road Traffic Management Authority with 338 officers. The chairman explained that the approval was in pursuance of the revalidated approval policy signed in 2021. He stressed further that qualified applicants at the first stage will move to the other stages before the interview session that would be conducted by the Civil Service Commission and Ministry of Establishment and Training. Now, the House of Representatives has passed a bill to adopt the old national anthem, despite opposition from some lawmakers. The bill, sponsored by the Majority Leader Julius Ihonvere, was debated for a second reading and rushed through a third reading amid opposition from some lawmakers. Leading the debate on the bill, Mr. Ihonvere said the content of the old anthem is far better than the current one. Speaking against the bill, the Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda said the anthem should not be a thing of priority to Nigerians. While opposing the bill, Mr. Chinda said the old anthem was composed by a colonialist and adopting it would mean going back. Following the debate, the bill was put to vote by Deputy Speaker Ben Kalu, who presided over the session. However, the nay voices appeared louder, yet the presiding officer called the vote in favor of the yes, according to reports. This ruling generated complaints from lawmakers. However, the Deputy Speaker insisted on the ruling. Amid the opposition, the Deputy Speaker rushed the motion through. Away from that, the 2024 Vanguard Economic Discourse was held in Victoria Island, Lagos, tagged Reforms of the Era of Global Economic Uncertainty, Whither Nigeria. The 8th edition of the Vanguard Economic Discourse is an economic development thought leadership event hosted by Vanguard newspapers yearly and serves as a public-private sector platform for ventilation of development ideas across sectors of the economy. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who was represented by the Special Advisor on Economic Affairs, Tope Fasua, listed the achievements of President Bola Tinubu in terms of potential investments to be worth more than $20 billion. Shettima noted that potential investments secured by President Tinubu included $4 billion from India, 15 million naira from the Netherlands, among others. During the event, discussions were focused on Nigeria's economic reforms amid global uncertainty, addressing policy challenges and strategies for positive change.
It must be noted that the approach of the Bola Tinubu administration has been to take the ways and means situation head-on, setting very tight time limits towards resolving them, classifying the loans properly as part of national debt, and ensuring that any new debts are properly structured. It has been a Herculean task, given that almost every other country on earth, including highly developed nations, are still warehousing their own exposures created in that time in tiding over the period in their central banks and through other means. I urge you to think about this effort, given that we have taken a path of strict discipline, total transparency and accountability. Perhaps this, among other efforts, is responsible for the recent upgrades of our sovereign ratings by the world's best rating agencies. We are on a mission to somewhere greater. Perhaps I should also take a minute to discuss my perspective about what you have termed global economic uncertainties before looking specifically at our country, Nigeria. The global pandemic will still go down as the most significant event of our time when the history is written. I will urge that we'll deeply think about that occurrence and not confine its significance into the dustbin of history just yet, or shrug it off, so that we may not keep repeating the mistakes of the past.
Notable dignitaries and economic experts who were also present at the event include the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, who was represented by Dr. Blaise Ijabo, Risk Management Department of the CBN, Dr. Bismarck Rewani, MD and CEO of Financial Derivatives Limited, President, Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero, among others.
The economy is running at the economy, and other people who are looking inwards into the economy are saying, what rate are we going to really operate? So they're not going to bring their money in because they feel that, one, there is unfair competition, two, there is so much uncertainty, which is what we have been talking about, and it keeps them away. In this process of fixing and making the FX market more transparent, we've already started seeing inflows. Yes, there were some periods where things are resetting, but in Q1, we saw a massive spike in inflows. And I did say in my comment that we actually had about 136% in one quarter of what we had in the whole of 2023. So we are beginning to see these steps, these improvements, things getting better. It will take some time, but if we stay focused on the reforms and we are disciplined about the reforms, the pains might be there, but they will be short-lived, and we'll begin to see more and more results of these reforms? Thank you.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, not this administration, prior administrations, were licensing bureau de changes for themselves. That the abuse of the bureau de change sector was mainly the handwork of Central Bank of that time. And then later on, you now turn around and say this bureau de changes and all that. So there's a lot of inconsistency and contradiction. So one, I think there's an attempt to sanitize the market, change its structure, but there's a fundamental issue of supply. Secondly, there's a big difference between if you are fighting terrorism, you fight terrorism. If you are addressing the value of the currency, that's a different. You do not commingle the two things. If not, you are going from a simple equation to a quadratic equation with many unknowns. So my suggestion is that there should be communication between the operators, the policymakers, and the regulators. Two, that the structure of the market, the more the players, the more efficient the market.
And we are talking of reforms at the era of uncertainty. Well, increase in pump price of petroleum products, is that reform? The answer is no. Increase in tariff of electricity, is that reform? The answer is no, because I want to understand the reforms that are taking place in Nigeria, whether it's flotation of the currency, is that reform? Let us on and understand, what we meant by reform. Is expanding the net of taxes, is that reform? And all these things are bringing a lot of burden on the worker. If you check, the workers are the main people that pay actual wage, pay. They don't even have option. It's deducted from their salary and is remitted. Without, because I want to listen to your appeal and see how to survive, and equally ask you for suggestion if you are sitting where I'm sitting today. And when you didn't even add the percentage at which the PMS price was increased from 185 to about 700 now, where you can get it. And the very moment you touch this, all other issues in the country are affected.
Welcome back. You're watching Biscontv Television News. Up next is business news. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Biscontv Television News. Now to business news. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, has advised the 2015 newly inducted chartered accountants to take advantage of numerous opportunities presented by digital technology and artificial intelligence. According to him, we are at a crucial junction where the digital revolution and artificial intelligence are reshaping the world, and the accounting profession is no exception. He noted that by embracing digital technology and artificial intelligence and honing of skills, one can unlock exciting new possibilities in the ever-evolving accounting landscape. President of ICANN, Dr. Innocent Iweka Okosa, gave this advice at the 73rd Professional Induction Ceremony in Lagos. Okosa charged the inductees to prioritize ethical conduct, explaining that ethics are the bedrock of the profession and the moral compass guiding actions and decisions to ensure public trust and credibility. We'll take another short break, and when we return, we'll bring you foreign news. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Biscontv Television News. Now to foreign news. China has started 2 days of military exercises around Taiwan, with its military calling them strong punishment for the self-ruled island's separatist acts. The drills come 3 days after the inauguration of President William Lai, who called on China to stop threatening the island and accept the existence of its democracy. China sees Taiwan as a breakaway province that will eventually be under Beijing's control, but the island sees itself as distinct. Taiwan's defense ministry condemned the Chinese drills as irrational provocations. Taipei dispatched naval, air, and ground forces to defend the island's sovereignty, its defense ministry said. Thursday's drills for the first time simulated a full-scale attack, Taiwanese military experts said, rather than an economic blockade. The exercises took place all around the main island and for the first time also targeted the Taipei-controlled islands of Kinmen, Matsu, Wiku, and Dongyin, which lie close to the Chinese coast, according to maps released by China's People's Liberation Army, PLA. The drills also included a component to the east of Taiwan, the island's rugged east coast on the other side of a mountain range has long been its military redoubt. Taiwan has built much of its hardened military infrastructure along this coast, including a large underground air base inside a mountain near the city of Hualien. It is also close to Japan's southern islands and a natural resupply route. By sending naval and air patrols to the east of Taiwan, China aims to show Taipei that its east is now exposed to Chinese attack and to show the Americans that any efforts to resupply or reinforce Taiwan from the east is vulnerable to Chinese missile strikes and naval attack. You're watching Biscontv Television News. Coming up next is sports news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now to the world of sports. World Football governing body FIFA has made changes to the officiating team of the 2026 World Cup qualifying match between Benin Republic and Nigeria, which is scheduled for the Stade Felix Houphouët-Boigny in Ivory Coast on Monday, June 10. The changes have sent packing Ethiopian official Bamlak Tesema Weyesa, who was originally designated as referee for the encounter, scheduled to kick off at 4 p.m. In his place, Gabonese official Pierre Ghislain Acho will now be the referee. Weyesa's compatriots Temesgin Samuel Atango and Tigli Gizo Belachu have been retained as Assistant Referee 1 and Assistant Referee 2 respectively. However, another Ethiopian, Tewodros Mitiko, earlier designated as the fourth official, has been thrown out, replaced by Cameroonian Antoine Max Efa Esoma. The originally designated referee, assessor, match commissioner, and security officer retain their places in the encounter that comes up only 3 days after the Super Eagles Bafana Bafana clash at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Uyo. And that's the news for now on Biscontv Television, compiled and produced by Adebisi Elegunde. Now the last line. No one raises his own reputation by lowering others. I'm Stella Opara. Thank you for watching.
Go.